on. 10? I don't...
What are you doing?
Johannes, I'm trying to roll what the internet told me is a Nat 20, which I guess is good at D&D. Our guest today is Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah.
Not only is he a famous improviser and doing all this stuff on Dropout TV, but he's like very big in the Dungeons and Dragons world. Mm-hmm. You know, with Chris Pine.
Okay.
Here we go. I told myself if I roll a Nat 20, that I could use my goblin magic and make you disappear. So
Okay, no.
here we go. Try to get you 13 and snake eyes. All right. Maybe I can get Brennan Lee Mulligan to help me roll a Nat 20 right now.
My friend, good to see you.
There he is. You brought your traveler mug. Oh, watch the microphone. There it is.
Microphone right here. Thank you so much.
It's a podcast.
And fantastic.
Yes.
And stunning.
Yes. Look at you.
What a delight to be here.
Yeah, you look like a Christmas dad.
Christmas Dad is the new vibe.
Yeah, that's you're giving Christmas Dad.
And you know what? This is not only are the New Balances on, I have a Leatherman and a holster on my belt.
You are ready for anything.
I can break down a box.
Yeah.
We can get snacks. We can do whatever we need to do.
Absolutely. And if the crib falls apart, they're like, hey, Brennan, come in. You're like, hold on, I got a little Allen wrench in there. You're ready to go.
I have so many Allen wrenches. I've never thrown away an IKEA Allen wrench. And
same.
They're all just in a big plastic bin. I mean, how many 1/16 of an inch Allen wrenches do I have? We're
speaking this guy's language, aren't we?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
The Allen wrench is your people's hammer, correct?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Italian.
No,
I've always heard of that. The Allen wrench is the hammer of Italians.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone has that shirt. Everyone has that bumper sticker. 100%. It's so common over there in Europe.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very continental.
This is Johannes, by the way, Brennan.
Johannes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And this is Brennan Lee Mulligan. The salute. Round of applause, Johannes. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a joy and an honor to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited. I want to start with your name because a lot of people have like the 3 names, and you got to say all 3.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a connection with those people? You know, where you're like, Lou Diamond Phillips is my guy.
I do. Lou Diamond Phillips is great. Unfortunately, there's a lot of 3-named assassins, and that's something I try to back away from.
Like who?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's one. Okay.
That's one of them. John Wilkes Booth.
Oh yeah. I guess if you're gonna get rid of a president, you better have the 3 names.
You better have the 3 names.
Yeah.
And Lee is even in there once or twice. So you gotta. So I try to stay away from that association.
But I don't know a Brennan Mulligan. Do you? Is that something that happened?
No. So it's not. So I didn't.
Should we assassinate that guy so you could just be Brennan Mulligan?
Let me tell you, if you're going by Brennan Mulligan, no Lee, maybe watch out. Yeah. All right. You know, the SEO.
We're coming from you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I go by Lee. That's my mom's last name.
Oh, okay. So that's not your middle name.
It actually is. So it is my middle name.
Okay. Next question. No. What do you mean by that?
So I was given Lee, my mom's last name, as my middle name on my birth certificate.
I see.
But when I was a little kid, I wanted to use it because I think even when I was like 5 or 6, and it felt somehow disrespectful not to use it. Because when I knew that it was my mom's last name, I was like, why isn't this getting any stage time?
That's right.
Why isn't this this is the lady who's, after all, I know who's making the nachos back at home. It's Mom. Let's get Lee in here.
You were a 5-year-old feminist. You were just like, wait, what's going on here?
What's going on here?
Wait, they both deserve names.
Exactly.
And I'm going to represent that. I like that about you, Brennan.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Speaking of home, speaking of Mom, I read that you were homeschooled.
That is correct. Yes.
You were homeschooled?
Not for the entirety of my education, but from the age of 10 to 14, I was homeschooled. And it was awesome. It was a great experience.
It was awesome?
It was awesome.
What about like Secret Santa? That had to be a little lonely. Kind of figured out real quick, you know?
Sure.
Just kind of took off your hat.
Yeah.
Written down your name, close your eyes, like, oh, Brennan. What should I get me?
Losing class president is tough. Yeah.
You did? Oh, no.
But the truth is, I grew up in New York. So I grew up a part of the time in New York City and part of the time in upstate New York. Upstate New York is where I spent most of my time growing up, where in this little town called High Falls, where there was a Ulster County network of homeschool parents who, so basically I would say like 5 or 6 times a week, there was a larger class environment where one of the parents or a tutor or somebody would teach a class. So you were still seeing a lot of other kids throughout the week because it was a big hippie kind of crunchy granola homeschool network. And it was awesome. We had like my friend John Dermer, his dad was a New York City firefighter who taught a civics class. And we had my Julie Rose, who was my stepbrother's mom. She taught a creative writing class that was a bunch of the kids. So it was actually pretty social, all things considered. It was not too isolated.
So you were in a cult. All right, next question. So Brennan, I heard from a lot of people. So many people were excited. I got to be honest. You're one of our most requested guests.
What?
Because a while ago, I did a little series called Goblins and Gamers.
Amazing.
Where I dipped my claws into the RPG world, which I still don't know what that stands for. Mm-hmm. And I heard from so many people, they were like, oh, if you're getting an RPG, you got to get our master. They would all like bow. They'd be like, hey, he is our master. He is the DM.
The cult energy has really continued.
It followed you through.
Yeah.
You now took on that role.
Yes.
Yes. And your Kool-Aid of choice is Dungeons and Dragons, correct?
I love it.
Yeah.
100%.
So, for us lay goblins, what is RPG?
Role-playing game. So an RPG is a game in which you are playing a role. You are associated with a character within the game. Dungeons and Dragons happens to be a subset of role-playing game, which is a tabletop role-playing game, meaning you're not playing it on an electronic console. You're playing it at a table with friends. And now, of course, in the age of Zoom, there are some digital tabletops, which is sort of a funny recursive thing. But generally speaking, you're at a table playing with friends. And, you know, growing up, your character sheet was on paper. You were marking things like hit points with a pencil. And it's a game that combines, you know, tactical combat with role playing and sort of with improvised narrative storytelling. You're following the story of your characters.
So from what I remember, it's kind of like improv.
Yeah, very much so.
It's like you're improvising stories and stuff like that.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
And you also do improv.
I do also do improv.
Yeah.
I perform in a show called Bigger with my wife, Isabella Rowland.
It's called Bigger.
The name of our show is Bigger, yes.
That's the two of you.
That's the two of us, and sometimes friends.
How'd you come up with the name Bigger for the two of you?
We were having a hard time auditioning for improv teams in Los Angeles. We were going out, and one of the notes we were getting is that we sort of were playing over-the-top characters a lot. Very big. I tend to play a lot of wizards in scenes. And
that's not me, though.
You're not a big wizard
No,
guy?
I don't. No, I don't play over the top.
Okay.
My comedy is grounded. You almost got to, I like the audience to lean in, you know, like, what's he saying, right, Johannes?
Sure, yeah.
But do you ever feel like your groundedness doesn't necessarily map to other people's groundedness? Is there a set universal grounded?
That's a good point. That's a really good point, Brennan Lee Mulligan.
I appreciate it. I tend to think that grounded is a little bit, can I say it, presumptive. You know, grounded.
Absolutely, and I know what that word means, and so I agree. Presumptive. And Johannes, what are you doing?
Sorry, we were on the road, so everything is a little cattywampus.
Okay.
And now that's a great word. Catawampus is great.
I know what that one means. I was in the South. I learned what that one means. So, role playing, and this is different from like, what would you say your wife's name was?
Isabella.
Isabella, fellow Swede. So, if Isabella, like, came into the bedroom, and she was like, "Oh, I'm Officer Izzy, and Brennan, you've been a very bad inmate,"
Yeah.
that's not role playing.
Well,
Oh.
it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, I always, because here's the thing, I'm reading this thing and I'm like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm grounded and I don't like to go too blue.
Yes.
Because I'm green.
I dig that. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but I'm reading this stuff and I'm going, okay, role playing, dungeons, like this guy's into sex stuff, which I'm not here to judge.
For sure. Even the statement, "I'm not here to judge," sort of creates sort of a gestalt space where that judgment could exist, but I hear you.
No, yeah, we're treading on some Pete Holmes territory right now. You're just like, what is grounded? What is judging? Who are we?
Who are we?
Yeah.
Love Pete Holmes. Love that angle. To get grounded with it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Your version of grounded, I just want to be clear.
Yes, my version of grounded. I would say role playing exists all around us. In some ways, are we not kind of performing ourselves in day-to-day life? What is it?
Not me. Not me. What you see, Brandon, is what you get. You're on a Goblins podcast. We are so based in reality right now. We couldn't be more real.
I love it. And let me just say, by the way, I feel very, as someone who has done, I think, a fair amount of podcasts, I'm so excited to be on a podcast that specifically hosted by a luminary host such as yourself. And any detour you want to take, because I'm happy to share issues of my biography, but I'll be honest, this is a big opportunity for me to learn more about Goblin groundedness and Goblin perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy that you're open to learning, And here's the thing is, so I want to talk a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons because I know from other people in the comments telling me that in Dungeons and Dragons, there's goblins. And there's a lot of goblin lore in Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm just like, I haven't played, but I just assume because it's goblins that were like very highly respected and we're probably like one of like the final bosses in Dungeons and Dragons. And we have all the smarts, correct? Right, Brennan? Correct? That is correct about goblins? For sure that's correct?
Unfortunately, in many editions of the game, goblins have not gotten their due moment. They have not gotten their moment in the limelight like they should have. But a lot of dungeon masters, like myself and the people I play with, are working, I think, to feature goblins in the way that they always should have been.
Talk to me, Brennan. Tell me about that. Tell me more.
So our main flagship show at Dimension 20, which is my Dungeons and Dragons show that I run on Dropout TV, we have our flagship sort of season setting within Dimension 20 is called Fantasy High. It's a high school for heroes. It's like Breakfast Club meets Dungeons and Dragons, right? And one of our heroes, our main character, is played by the incredible Brian Murphy, is named Riz Gukgak, and he is a goblin private investigator. He's like a little goblin Veronica Mars high school sleuth.
I love Veronica Mars.
It's
I
great.
love Veronica Mars.
It's great.
She's married to Jack Shepard. Okay, keep going. Okay.
And so Riz is very much, of the 6 heroes, is an incredibly heroic character who spends that first season of Fantasy High solving a mystery about his missing babysitter and a bunch of other young students at the school who have all gone missing. And he is a heroic, brave, insightful, wonderful goblin adventurer, goblin rogue.
So you and Mr. Murphy, what's his name?
Brian Murphy.
He needs a middle name. He's a Brian.
I believe his middle name is Kevin.
He needs Brian Kevin Murphy
Could be wrong.
and Brennan Lee Mulligan are goblin advocates, I would say. You're out there doing the gobs work.
Ever since I was a young kid and I watched Labyrinth for the first time, which depicted heroic goblins of all shades and stripes.
Which your mom put on because she was like, I need a break from teaching today. Today's class is going to be Labyrinth. Yes, correct.
Put me right there to watch the absolutely provocative cod piece in David Bowie's tights.
The Goblin King.
The Goblin King.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, 1,000,000%. And we've, Riz is like one of my all-time favorite characters.
I loved that.
Yeah, it's great. It's exciting. But yes, in earlier iterations of the game, goblins were often depicted as a low challenge rating opponent, meaning that beginning adventurers might be facing goblins as one of their likely opponents in the game.
Okay, so I'm just going to put a little pin in this real quick because you're saying a bunch of things and my head's swirling. And I know a lot of our viewers, there's probably a lot of people that dabble in D&D.
Oh, yes.
But there's a lot of people that don't, you know, and they're going to tell us. But I thought we start from scratch because I'm learning too, okay? So I thought we would break down what this character sheet is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johannes!
We got a couple.
Give me the character sheet. I actually printed one out.
Amazing.
Yeah, I went to Kinko's. Problem was the guy working at Kinko's was like super into this thing. He's like, oh, what are you going to do with the agility? And I was just like, oh, buddy, I'll take a Kit Kat bar and I want this printed, you know? So here we go. Is this correct? This is what you would get?
That is a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons character sheet.
A 5th edition?
Yes.
Is that the newest edition? What edition are we on?
Oh, well, that's a whole thing in and of itself. There's a new 2024 set of rules.
All right, I'm regretting that answer. Okay, so here we go. For this one, Brennan, I don't need to write it yet. I got to figure out what I'm going to write first. Okay, so it says on this sheet right here, first thing is you're going to create a character name, which makes sense. Class level.
Class and level, yeah.
Class and level. So what would that be? Let's say I, John Goblikon, am about to play Dungeons and Dragons with the master himself, Brennan Lee Mulligan. And I'm like, I don't want to just play a goblin this time. I do that every day.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
I want to play somebody else, like a real Lothario, you know what I mean? Like a Zach Morris.
Ooh, a Lothario. You want to be a bit of a rake.
A rake?
A bit of a flirt.
Yeah. I want to be, okay, that's what I want to be. Okay, so I want to be that, okay? Not unlike Riz. I'm going to use the Riz, okay? So my class and level, what would that be?
If you're interested in playing a Lothario, you're probably going to want to play from a handful of classes, of which there are, I think, either 13 or 14, depending on if you count Artificer. But there are a number of character classes. You are probably going to want to focus on the ones that use charisma. Charisma, Riz.
Yep.
And if honestly, there is a class that has the highest association with being kind of a Lothario, and that's the Bard.
The Bard.
The Bard, a musical, performative, charismatic, outgoing, persuasive class.
That's me. That's exactly what's on my Tinder profile. Okay? So, that's what I want to be. So I'm going to be, what's it called? A Bard?
A Bard.
Okay. Shakespeare. Okay. So, and then my background, I'll just say like from Reseda, kind of like didn't really know my parents and stuff like that. And I kind of got adopted in the human world and was bullied in high school. And then I kind of like moved on from that. And because I was just like, I don't have a path in life. I just started working a desk job and I've just slowly, incrementally been working my way up within that desk job to just kind of support corporate America.
So maybe folk hero.
Okay, I'll just put folk hero. Yeah, let's put folk hero. All right, folk hero. All right, and then player's name, John Goblikon of Nekrogoblikon. Race. Hot dude. I'm going to put.
Hot dude. Okay.
Hot dude. Alignment.
Alignment.
I got a hub, so I feel like I'm going to try to get one of those at my chiropractor.
Yes, no, for sure. So alignment in this case does not refer to your spinal alignment. It refers to your ethical and moral alignment. You have...
You okay, Johannes?
No, you're good.
You got it.
Just want to...
You need aligning?
No, I just want to hear this.
Okay.
So in old school D&D, you had 3 different moral alignments, which were good, neutral, and evil. And then you had 3 different ethical alignments, which were lawful, neutral, and chaotic. And it produced 9 alignments.
Okay, so Brennan, what kind of alignment would a troll have? Probably evil, 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 right?
So this gets back into our conversation from earlier, which is in more recent editions of the game, we don't assign definitive alignments to creatures. A lawful good troll is every...
Do you see what's happened? This is Anna Kendrick. This is Justin Timberlake. This is their dirty work. The PR machine's working. Wake up, people. The pro-trolls movement has happened. It's literally changed Dungeons and Dragons, a game that's been around since what?
The
50s, 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
70s? When everyone had their wits about them in the 70s. This created a game. And now, guess what? Trolls are like, oh no, not all trolls are bad. There's probably some good ones. It's like, oi.
But do you feel that there's a challenge in trying to be prescriptive about trolls as someone who wants a richer depiction of goblin life and culture in these games?
I gotta get homeschooled. I mean, I'm just getting thrown a glossary and it's like, wow. I don't know half of what he just said, but I'm like, I'm listening.
Hey,
I'll take your class. I'll join your cult.
You got to come join the cult.
Your cult.
Folks. Yeah.
All right, so we got that. Now it's got like a bunch of categories: strength, dexterity, the Constitution. Oh,
It's not, well, it's not the Constitution. It's just Constitution. But yes.
I was going to say, okay, good, because I'm like, that one's getting argued all kinds of ways. All right, so intelligence, check. Wisdom, check. Charisma, check. So I'll just check all these boxes. I got all these.
You want to put a number in each one to describe how much or how little of that attribute you have.
And what's the scale of numbers?
This is a really bizarre thing, but it's 3 to 20.
3 to 20.
3 to 20.
And do you know the reasoning behind that?
You would roll a number of 6-sided die, which we call D6, and you add typically 3 of them together. So because each die can only roll at lowest a 1, the lowest you can roll by adding 3 together is a 3. So 3 is your lowest possible ability score.
How many years of college must you attend before you can play Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't. It's the game. I always forget how complicated the game is until
you have to explain it to a goblin. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so 3 to what?
3 to 20.
3 to 20. 20 is like very, very good.
So yeah, 20 is great. Usually that's where you max out.
Okay, so strength. I guess it's inner strength or like physical strength.
You can think of 10 as being totally average. So I think this is raw physical strength. This is brute strength.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty strong.
You gonna need help with that? Or?
It's a two-hander. It's a two-hander.
All right.
Okay. All right. So, it's like now my whole shoulder is like, it's like burning. Mm-hmm. It's like burning.
Yeah, you put.
So we'll do like a 20.
20's good. Yeah, 20's great.
Okay.
20 strength. Great.
All right. And now it says dexterity, which look at that.
That's great.
20?
20.
Okay.
I think 20.
20.
20. You're going to be a very competent character.
Okay. And Constitution.
That's your health, durability, fortitude, your physical resilience.
Okay, that's a 3. That's a 3. Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty low. I've been in a metal band. I've been touring. You know, I've been beating up this thing.
Yep.
Intelligence.
To be thought of. Yeah.
We're doing your character shit. Here's gonna be like, well, let's see. What's his job? A producer. How good is he at producing? Roll 3. Snake eyes. You know.
Snake eyes, not snake eyes.
A snake with a third eye. I would say that so intelligence is raw, analytical, logic, memory, all that prefrontal cortex.
I can tell you who would be a 20.
Oh, that's very kind. I appreciate
Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Oh, that's very kind. I appreciate that.
I'm going to say average.
10. Great.
Yeah, I'm going to say 10.
10's great.
I'm going to say I'm learning. You know, I'm here to grow. I want some room to grow because it was like 20, you know, so.
Yeah, oh, sure.
I want my character to have a little room to grow because that's important in any character arc.
That's an incredible insight.
All right, then I'm going to move it up to 15, actually. Just going to move it just a little up to 15.
And then the next ability score is wisdom. Wisdom represents intuition, empathy, the ability to be awareness. It is sort of, rather than the very like academic intelligence, wisdom I think is very much concerned with a social intelligence, the wisdom of experience, of someone who is worldly and thoughtful.
Yes, very thoughtful, maybe empathetic or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, Johannes, you're moving, and Brennan Lee Mulligan's talking. The master. Less talking. We're trying to do a D&D thing. I'm trying to do a sting on the paper that I had to print out because someone has a 3 in Constitution. So, like, I feel like pretty high.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go high. We'll go 19.
19.
Little room to grow.
Love that.
You have a lot left on that, or are you
Okay,
almost done?
Johannes. What do I got to roll to shut him up? I got one of these things.
Hey, you got some dice in there. Look at that. Great.
Look at that.
How about it? To get him to shut up?
Yeah,
well, this is your last ability score, which is charisma, which will directly impact your ability to persuade and intimidate.
Well, we already said, like, hot dude, charisma's got to be up the charts, right?
That's your primary ability score. I'd say 20 at minimum, if not legendarily higher, perhaps through some magical boon or magical item that could raise it. You want to go 22? You want to go 22?
I'm going to do 22.
You can do 22?
I'm going to give it 22, Brennan Lee Mulligan.
22.
Brennan Lee Mulligan, I'm going to give it 22.
That sounds good to me,
No,
man.
I'm going to
That
give it
sounds
22,
good to
Brennan Lee
me.
Mulligan, yeah.
So if you want to intimidate Johannes, what you're going to do is you're going to take your green 20-sided die. Then we call that a D20.
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 Okay.
You're going to roll.
Whoa.
That counts.
No, that was D12. They were big in the 90s. Okay.
You're going to roll that, and you're going to add your modifier for a 22 charisma would be a +6. Do you feel that you are proficient in persuasion or intimidation?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to add additional +2. So you're going to add a +8 to whatever you roll here.
And what's like the thing I'm shooting for?
Well, Johannes, would you say that you are easily intimidated or not very easily intimidated?
I am not very easily intimidated.
So it's going to be a 25, which means you need to roll a 17 or higher on the die in order to successfully
Just
intimidate.
do whatever you feel like. Just do that.
Well, he's actually kind of bulking right now, so I am going to lower that difficulty class to a 20.
Thank you. Here we go.
What's that on the
What
die?
is it? You tell me. What happened, Dungeon Master? What happened?
That is a 10.
Okay.
+8
Yes.
is 18.
Yes.
Too shy of the needed 20. Johannes is not intimidated.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Close. Close, but no cigar.
What would get him fired, you think?
Well, are you his legal employer?
Yeah.
Do you have an at-will employment agreement?
I have agreement. No.
Yeah, I said, would you do this podcast for 2 Costco hot dogs in the year of 2025? He said, yeah. It's on camera.
No. I've been sending invoices. I'm not
It
kidding.
was like episode 13 or something. So.
Johannes, I'm gonna. Oh,
I lost my die.
Whoa, wait a minute. What's happening?
Johannes,
No, hold on. No. He
I'm
just crapped out 2 die. What happened? Where did those come from, Johannes?
I got you right here. It's all the way over here. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
I was just ready for defense if I needed to. Thank you.
You're making our guest get up, Johannes.
I'm sorry. But thank you.
Incredible. Great, and you can see already that so you would not need to roll in order to fire Johannes if that's
Great.
illegal.
Fired.
Damn.
Is that intimidating? Huh?
I mean, yeah.
That's more than 18 now. Huh? It's 18 less hot dogs in your life. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. Okay, so we got all this stuff figured out. And like all this other stuff, like you kind of don't need to really fill it all out, right? You just kind of like cruise through it, like personality traits, so freaking funny, ideas. How about this? I'll come up with those later.
And that's actually your ideals.
There's an L in there.
Your ideals. The ideals are your highest aspirations. It's the values by which you lead your life. This is a story, after all, not just about people, but about heroes. What are your highest ideals, John?
I really like this game already. What are my ideals? What are my ideals? Well, I'm a hot dude. Okay.
And you said you're a Lothario.
I'm a Lothario. I'm very charismatic. I got great strength. I got great dexterity.
But what is it in your heart that motivates you to flirt? What is it you believe in that makes you seek that connection with people?
I think that all of us are just looking for our soulmate.
That's beautiful. I think that's your ideal. I think love is your highest ideal.
It is. I think it is.
It's beautiful.
I'm in love. I'm in love.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, great.
I'm in love. Okay, that's that. And that's what I feel like we can just kind of skip over flaws.
Well, I noticed that you had your constitution down at a 3. I think the flaw is that on the level of your sort of ethical self. If your constitution can sometimes betray you, are there any blind spots? Are there any areas of your perception of the world that maybe cause you to enter into conflict with your adventuring party, with the world that you inhabit? Where do you tend to find conflict or failure come from in your life?
I mean, kind of like over here.
So you could put your relationship with Johannes as your flaw if you want.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like my biggest flaw right now. Johannes, I'm like late sometimes. I forget things. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm looking at the time and they're like, you got to be there at, 8:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And then 8:30 rolls around and I'm still like, oh, I gotta leave. And I'm going around, I'm checking everything. I feel like I have to keep checking to make sure the door is locked. I don't know what that's called, you know what I mean? I gotta like do it a certain amount of times, you know what I mean? And then like all of a sudden I'm just like, wait, oh my God, it's 8:45. I gotta go. John, you gotta go. Everyone's gonna be mad at you out there, you know what I mean? And then I like text the group chat. I'm like, I'm gonna be really late. And then no one responds. And then they're like, wait, who actually is this in the group thread? I don't have this number saved. And then I'm like, wait a minute, and then forget it. All of a sudden it's 9. And I'm like, John, you gotta get out of here. And then the existential dread kind of piles on, and just stay home.
Do you want to take a big deep breath with me?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Guess what, goblins? We just restocked our official Right Now podcast merch store, and I have everyone's favorite model to show you one of our shirts. Hey, sweetie. Hey, sweetie, come on out. Come on out. Let's go. There you go. Give us a little twirl. Let's see the back. Oh, it's blank. All right, turn around. Here it is. So make sure to buy some merch. Oh my God. Right now. It says it right here, dude. It's like under your freaking tits.
They're not all the way down.
What's the first thing you would do as a dungeon master?
So, your character, let's assume that we've filled out all of your bardic abilities, all of your hot dude abilities.
Yes.
And we go in, we would probably want to set a scenario for where you're beginning. Now, normally I would work with a player to find a way to connect them in with the backstories of the other player characters. But given that you and I are playing one-on-one right now, maybe we just start. And there is a very classic place to start an adventure. And that's in a tavern.
Oh, I was going to say podcast studio. Okay, great.
So before they had podcast studios, they had taverns, which was where people would go to opine.
The original podcast, everyone says that.
Yep, is the tavern. So I'll set the scene. Does your character have a name?
Oh yeah, what should his name be? Hot dude.
So he's sort of like a Pokemon. His creature type is also his name, and it's also what he says.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, his name is Hot Dude.
Yeah, Hot Dude, great.
Well, I'm getting really into this 3-name thing.
Yeah.
Hot Lee Dude.
Hotly Dude.
Hot Lee Dude. That's his
Great.
name.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, Hotly Dude, before you, in the dimming twilight of a vast forest, the road wends its way through hill and valley to the gentle glow of a tavern. Busy patrons raise tankards of frothy ale, cheering each other on as the evening's revelries begin, and you can smell fresh baked bread and a warm stew. Long day's travel now ends here at the coming of night as you see an inn and tavern before you called the Hog and Heath. As you approach, you see a number of patrons outside talking jovially, smoking pipes, and you can see a warm fire set in the common room within. What do you do as you approach? And you can do anything.
I can do whatever I want.
You should feel responsible only for your own character's attempted actions.
Okay.
So I'm playing all of the other characters. I'm playing the world and
Yes.
the environment and inanimate objects.
Yes.
And rather than you're not responsible for saying what happens. You are simply responsible for what your character says and does.
Okay. And do I talk in first person or?
It's a great question. There are 3 types of speech which people that are playing D&D normally engage in. First is you can speak in dialogue. You can literally go, my character approaches the tavern and goes, where can a traveler such as myself, a hot dude, find a cool beverage and a hot meal? You can speak in dialogue. You can also narrate your character's actions. You can say, as I approach the tavern, I put a hand on my sword, ready for violence at any moment. And then you can also speak as yourself, John Goblikon, above table to ask questions. You can say, hey, which of my abilities should I roll here? So all D&D players will slip in and out of all 3 types of speech: dialogue, narration, and real conversation.
Got it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Channeling Wayne Brady. Okay, here we go. So, hot dude enters. What's the name of the tavern?
The Hog and Heath.
The Hog and Heat.
No.
Hog and Heath.
Okay, I like it better. It's Hog and Heat. It's now called Hog and Heat because everyone's looking at my hog and it's getting hot in here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I'm a hot lead dude.
Great.
And the light hits me. It sparkles down my 8 abs.
So your shirt off.
Yeah, I'm not wearing any clothes.
You're full naked.
Yeah, I'm fully naked.
Gotcha.
And it's okay during back then. It was fine.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, they're fine. They're body positive. Everyone's like, you are just who you are.
Yeah.
Well, it's the 70s, right?
Yeah, that's right, the 70s. So I'm walking in this tavern, and I'm like, oh, this would be a pretty interesting place to record a podcast here, And then I walk in, and I go to the bartender. I'm like, bartender, 2 drinks, 1 for me and 1 for the lucky person who may or may not walk through that door.
Great. So you order 2 drinks. The bartender absolutely complies and says, very well, 2 fresh tankards of ale coming up, my friend. And may I say, what a lovely, glistening set of abs you have.
Why, thank you, barkeep.
2 tankards of ale goes down, and you see, he says, it looks like your companion will be walking through at any moment. Mist floats in from the forest.
Oh, wow.
The door opens. A cloaked and hooded figure enters. Dark robes and chains of obsidian and iron. You see 2 beady red points of light flash out from under the hood as a dread necromancer enters the tavern. Who here would see fit to dine with me, a necromancer of the deepest underworld? This is the next person who's walked into the tavern.
Oh, okay. I was hoping for like Tiffany Haddish or somebody. So the Necromancer, is that going to be our opening band on tour this year with Nekrogoblikon? What's a Necromancer?
A necromancer is a wizard who wields the magic of death, which is the etymology of the word necros.
Homeschooling.
I mean, for real. Jeez. Congrats to teacher mom. So a Necromancer comes in, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I just bought a drink for some kooky wizard with a bunch of chains. He's going to think I'm like really into him.
He looks at your drink and says, "For me, thank you very much. What do you do for a living?"
I'm the host of this thing called a podcast, and you're gonna be like, "What's a podcast?" We don't have that in the '70s, but in the future, it's gonna be like a pretty big thing that like mostly comedians do. Anyways, I'm just here to find my soulmate. Which it's not gonna be you, you weirdo.
What, not me? Why?
I'm just.
You do something for comedians? People have told me I'm funny. The skeletons that guard my tower think I'm funny.
Oh boy, here we go. One of these. Everyone at the office thinks I'm funny. No, sir. I am. Now, granted, I am omnisexual, so I can be attracted to anyone and anything. But you're just not my type. You know, I was hoping for someone with I don't know, a couple of centuries younger, and you just kind of come off.
Thousands of years old?
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yes, well, you're very correct about that. However, having spurned the feelings of a necromancer is not something lightly done. You see the necromancer raise his bony hands. You see all the flesh has rotted off the skeletal hands on either side of the necromancer's wide arm span. And he says, "By the powers of the underworld do I summon death itself!" The lights extinguish. And as the fire flickers and roars back, the room is filled with skeletal warriors. I'm going to need you to roll initiative.
Okay. Wow. 19, is that good?
That's really good.
Okay, all right, yeah.
You're going to act first, so you have a chance to act in combat before the necromancer's skeletal warriors can raise their weapons and attack the denizens of the tavern.
Okay, but here's the thing. I wasn't really into this necromancer, but then he kind of did all this stuff that was like really friggin' metal and like kind of brought in this mist and stuff. And now all of a sudden I'm like looking down, I'm like, I'm kind of into him now.
Hey now, all right. So you have a chance now to speak as the necromancer, holding his hands aloft, says, "I don't care how toxic it is. I will punish all of those here for my hurt feelings."
Yeah, so now can I do something?
Yeah, go for it.
Do I roll or just say what I'm going to do?
Say what you want to do, and I'll help guide you through the rules of the game.
Okay. See if he's ever watched The Big Bang Theory.
Okay, you want to approach and strike up a conversation about hit CBS sitcom The Big Bang Theory.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I like to do in my free time, and that's kind of like a deal breaker for me.
Gotcha. So go ahead. You're going to roll a persuasion check because you're attempting to engage in conversation.
Yeah. Okay, persuasion check. Is that another 19?
My
That's an
God.
18.
That's an 18 plus 8 for your persuasion. That's 26. That's an incredible roll.
Yeah, he's going to binge watch all the seasons now, right?
So as you approach, what do you say to the necromancer?
I say, necromancer, I come from the metal world. Well, I guess my character, well, he can also be like kind of into metal. And I wasn't really into you, and I'm so sorry for being ageist. But after you kind of did all your things, kind of filled the room with smoke, that was kind of hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so very touching. My God. I feel flustered and flattered and blushing if I had flesh on my cheeks. I love it. Say, do you ever watch TV?
I tend to dabble in a little TV, but, you know, I mean, I'm kind of just like, I only watch like one show, and I watch that show religiously, so you probably have never seen it or anything like that.
Wait, on 3, say your favorite show. 1, 2, 3.
The Big Bang Theory!
Oh! Bazinga!
Oh, yes, Bazinga! Oh, and now there's got to be something that happens, right? Well, we both say Bazinga.
As you both say Bazinga, which is the 9th word of power that sustains the necromancer's dark castle in the underworld, he takes your hands in his. You twirl through the air, metal, skeletons, massive axes swirling around in a storm of blood and dismay. And he whisks you away to his underworld citadel, there to watch the Big Bang Theory together in metal paradise.
The end. Wow. That was See, everyone's always like, oh, I've been playing it for years. I'm delaying it. It takes 5 minutes.
Takes 5 minutes, yeah.
Takes 5 minutes.
If you know what you're doing, you can get to the bottom of it pretty quickly.
And you know what you're doing.
Hey, thank you, my friend.
And I want to know just how much you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So, pause. Unpause. We're going to play a little game, Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Okay.
All right, we're going to test your knowledge of D&D. And a little game I like to call DM or DM.
Okay.
Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to give you some lingo that could be attributed to Dungeons and Dragons, or it might just be some text slang that someone dropped in your DMs and used.
Copy that.
So you got to tell me which DM it is, and it could be both.
Ooh,
That's
fun.
also on the table. Now, we normally like give somebody something for getting answers right or something like that. But I borrowed this die from one of our friends, Phil.
That's very. I'd be more than happy to give any dice blessings to their dice. if they want.
Yeah. Okay, why don't you do that? Why don't you just say Phil's dice?
Phil's dice. May all your hits be crits. For you, Phil.
Oh, all right. So it's kind of like a present for Phil. We don't really have anything for you except my undying love and attention.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. All right. First one. Oh, and you got to buzz it, and you can create your own buzzer sound.
Great.
Nat 20.
Dungeon Master term. Nat is short for natural. A natural 20 is the highest possible roll on a 20-sided die.
That's actually incorrect. It's actually both. It says here that Leonardo DiCaprio usually DMs people and says, "You're not 20 yet, right?" All right. Okay.
I'm back in. I'm locked
okay.
in.
This
I'm
one
locked
is
in.
called TPK.
Meh.
Brennan Lee Mulligan.
An acronym for Total Party Kill, meaning an event in which every member of an adventuring party dies in a single session.
That's correct. And how often does that happen? Is that something is that normal?
Very rarely. I've only overseen less than a handful of total party kills.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's very rare.
Okay. So I found a good one on Reddit, huh?
Yes, that's a good one.
Okay. How about this one? The number 2, the letter G for goblin, the number 2, the letter B, the letter T.
2G, 2BT?
Yeah.
That's got to be direct.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. Oh, yeah. Brennan Lee Mulligan.
That's got to be direct message. I have not heard that in Dungeons and Dragons before.
That's correct. Johannes, any guesses what this means?
Too good to be true.
All right, we'll cut the part where you got it right. Brennan Lee Mulligan, any guesses of what this means? Yes.
Too good to be true?
That's correct. That's correct.
I get it.
You've been hanging out with Gen Z? How'd you know that? Too good to be true. I ever wonder, have you ever dungeon mastered? Because like other games, I mean, I've been to Vegas and they're like, someone rolls the wrong thing and they flip over a table. Have you ever had any animosity towards you or gotten so much heat as a dungeon master? Yeah?
Oh, yes. I am to the point where some of that animosity has become catchphrases. My players at Dimension 20, the Intrepid Heroes, have told me on multiple occasions to eat my fucking dice. Because...
Wait, is it... I love that. So that's like a D&D centric, like F you.
Yeah, you fucking...
Go eat
your
some fucking dice.
Yeah,
I
100%.
love that. I actually want to start using that in real life.
Not even having dice as a context.
Yeah,
just tell someone on the street, go eat your fucking dice.
Yeah, just getting cut off in the road and, hey, eat some dice, you know?
Love
That's
that.
kind of fun.
It is fun, I think. Yeah, there's an antagonism because you're the architect of their disaster. It's even though people sign up for that experience, when they're in the moment and you're threatening their beloved characters, they rally against you. They don't like it, you know? It's hard. You try to keep a professional remove, but...
I totally get it. I got a buddy, Frank. He runs this like haunted house thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where like people have to like sign a waiver and he like keeps them captive in his house for like months on end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the SWAT team comes. It's like, it's just like, don't get, it's like, you signed up for this. You know? What about BBEG? Babeg. Babeg. Oh, that's kind of sounds Swedish.
Yeah, BBEG is another gaming term.
I didn't hear you. No one buzzed in. Johannes, you want to buzz in? Oh, wait, okay. Brennan Lee Mulligan.
BBEG stands for Big Bad Evil Guy. It's another term from TTRPGs. that I think that there's a lot of the I've heard that even that it gets shortened to the big bad, but we have a word for that. It's villain or antagonist. So I kind of prefer to just say the villain.
I see.
That's my take.
Is it the same as the heavy?
The heavy from noir, from film noir. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Were you homeschooled? He's a film noir. No, he's a film aficionado.
I did go to film school.
You did go to film school.
I did, yeah.
Fritz Lang, that was a good director right there.
Fritz Lang's, yeah.
Yes, you went to film school, which is what your mom called the living room. Yes? She was like, look, these are all.
The day we watched Labyrinth, that was film school.
Yes,
Yeah, 100%.
she was like, welcome to film school. And you're like, yes. And she's like, here's a camera, and I'm going to keep it on you to make sure you stay in the house. What about Raw?
Raw. Well, that is.
Yes.
Raw is both slang and a gaming term.
That's correct. And tell me why both.
Well, I believe so. Within gaming, within tabletop, it's an acronym again. It stands for Rules as Written, which means that you are being very diligent in interpreting the rules as they were intended by the designer, by the rules as written in the book,
right.
Letter of the law. And then as a word in common parlance and slang, raw tends to be, you see raw sometimes hyphenated to raw or raw dogging, which is now used pretty widely to just sort of mean without protection, like, I raw dogged that flight because I didn't take melatonin, right? But originally it comes from raw dogging, meaning unprotected sex, so sex without a prophylactic condom, generally.
I just feel like I got a lecture from my father there.
Yeah. To hit it raw.
Yeah, okay,
100%.
okay. Thanks, Dad. Okay, how about this one? HP.
HP is stands for.
Gotta buzz in, man. Gotta buzz in, man.
Yeah. Wait,
are you on a game show like all the time?
I am on a game show all the time.
Okay, here we go.
The lack of a physical buzzer does create.
Johannes, that's not Johannes.
How is it?
You're being a real b-bag. Okay? Gotta get a buzzer.
Me.
Yes.
Another gaming acronym, which stands for hit points, which is a marker of your physical health.
Incorrect. It's actually Hewlett-Packard. Okay. Moving on. How about this one? AFAIK. Yes.
Another acronym, which is, I believe, exclusively from internet slang, which is a shortening of as far as I know.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Do you use a lot of like texting lingo? Or are you one of those people where you kind of like old school? You say be right back. You don't do the BRB.
I do a BRB.
You do a BRB?
I do a BRB. I do a lot of AFK.
What's that?
Away from keyboard.
AFK.
I do a lot of AFK.
If you're on your phone, you're always away from your keyboard, right?
Normally that means like, hey, I need to leave this Zoom meeting to go get a microwaved breakfast burrito from yesterday.
Oh, I got to use that.
Yeah.
In these Zoom meetings at my job, I'm like always AFK.
I'm like AFK a lot. It's tough because you get these Zoom meetings that are just back to back to back to back to back, and it's somewhere at some point you got to get that burrito.
I'm always like AFK, AFV. Always like away from keyboard, America's Funniest Videos. That's what I'm watching.
There you go. So those acronyms are a real lifesaver.
Yeah, I agree.
Why is it AFV? Isn't it America's Funniest Home Videos?
Next one, PC. PC. Yes.
Both. It's both.
It is both.
Player character and personal computer.
That's also correct.
There you go.
All right, and last one. Here we go. Metagaming. Metagaming.
Yes. Metagaming is a practice within tabletop role-playing in which a player imparts knowledge that they have only through the above-the-table reality to their player character within the setting. So, for example, let's say we're playing a game. One of my fellow players has a thief that steals a valuable magical object. They put it in their pouch in a scene that my character was not present. And then later, I go up to the thief and I go, hey, did you get any cool magical items? Let me take a look in your bag.
Getting ahead of the story.
Getting ahead of the story. And
like
acting on information that having your character act on information they wouldn't have in the world of the story.
So it's a Dungeons and Dragons term.
Yes.
That's incorrect. It's actually both. Thank you so much for playing Brennan Lee
What's the
Mulligan.
other metagame?
Metagaming also is what Mark Zuckerberg does in his mansion, where we're all his pawns, and he's trying to place us into his board. But thank you so much for playing. You did pretty good, Brennan.
Hey, thanks, John. I
You
appreciate it.
did pretty darn good. And I just have a couple more questions before I get you out of here. We dabbled in a lot of Dungeons and a lot of Dragons. But I wanted to also make sure people know you're a very talented improviser,
Well, thank you.
and you're part of something called Dropout TV.
That's right.
What's Dropout TV?
Dropout TV is an incredible. Basically, it's a network. It's a channel. We have our own app on different app stores and smart TVs. You can also just go to dropout.tv. And it is a streaming platform created by what was formerly College Humor, the YouTube channel and website College Humor.
And were you part of College Humor back in the day?
I was
Really?
right at the tail end before it fully transitioned just to being Dropout. I was one of the last College Humor cast members, and I grew up watching College Humor and was so honored and delighted to be a part of it. And then it became this streaming platform that has Dimension 20, which is our big actual play, comedians playing D&D and other tabletop role-playing games. It has Game Changer, an amazing show hosted by Sam Reich, where it's a game show where the game changes every episode. Make Some Noise, which is a great, basically short-form improv show. We have a ton of great shows on the platform. Very Important People, Dirty Laundry, Actually, a lot of great shows. That kind of has a rotating cast of comedians that mostly go on all these different shows, a lot like how in the UK they'll have like panel shows that have a lot of great comedians that go on a bunch of different panel shows there. So it's great. It's like awesome comedy. It's, I think, if you sign up right away, it's like $5.99 a month. I think it's going to be $6.99 a month starting next month, and it's an awesome value for a ton of great comedy content.
I love that. I mean, we had Lisa Gilroy on. I've seen her in a couple of your
She's
things.
awesome.
I want to get some more people from Dropout because I like Lisa. I like you.
Oh, thanks, John.
I still like that show where they kind of like, they like sit in a chair. They got to sit in a makeup chair. They kind of like make them look like something. Then they kind of like,
Very Important People, hosted by the phenomenal Vic Michaelis. Yes.
it feels like kind of a little bit of a gimmick, but you know. And you also dabble in podcasts.
Yes.
Worlds Beyond Number.
Worlds Beyond Number is my actual play podcast with the incredible Erica Ishii, Abria Iyengar, and Lou Wilson that is composed and produced and sound designed by the incredible Taylor Moore at Fortunate Horse. Worlds Beyond Number is actually sort of a really classic long-form fantasy story. So it is true to form classic fantasy, and the campaign we're doing now is called The Wizard, the Witch, and the Wild One. It's very like informed by Celtic mythology and like Studio Ghibli, like Hayao Miyazaki, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro. A lot of our favorite. It's like a sort of very big epic fantasy story. It's a fantasy saga.
I feel like this whole episode is just a commercial for homeschooling. You're not a comedian duds that just sat in that chair. They're like, oh yeah, I know where you went. Okay, and my vocal coach, Grady, I asked him to send in one question. He's a big fan of D&D, big fan of Brennan Lee Mulligan. Mm-hmm. He wanted to ask you one question, so here's the final question. He thought you looked great in makeup on Dungeons and Drag Queens. What would your drag DM name be?
Oh my God. This is such a great question. So Dungeons and Drag Queens, we did a season of Dimension 20 with 4 of my favorite drag queens of all time. Bob the Drag Queen, Monet Exchange, Jujubee, and Alaska Thunderfuck.
I love Bob. I watch The Traitors.
Oh,
I love Bob.
Bob is so
yeah,
good.
I was so bad. I'm like, boss, I Rob wanted him off. Spoiler alert. Okay, keep going.
I would say my Dungeon Master drag name, this is the first thing that came to me. Rolla Initiative.
I got that now. At the beginning of the show, I would have got it when I got it now.
You got it now?
Nat 20. All right. Brennan Lee Mulligan, let's get you out of here with my right now rapid fire questionnaire. Here's how it works.
Here we go.
You're going to be using your improv skills. Okay. I'm going to ask you 5 rapid fire questions. You're just going to answer as quickly as you can, straight off the dome. Are you ready, Brennan Lee Mulligan?
Do I need to buzz?
Left or right?
Right.
Westmoreland.
Borland?
Favorite genre of metal?
Heavy.
Okay, there's a snail chasing you. The snail is moving at a snail's pace, but it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. You can go as fast as slow as you want, but the snail will always be moving in your direction. And if you touch it or it touches you, you die. But before you ask, it can swim and survive in any atmosphere. What's your plan to survive the snail, Brennan Lee Mulligan?
Sealed plexiglass box.
A sealed plexiglass box.
Put the snail in a box that it cannot pass through.
So you just put it there. It's always going to see. It's going to touch you if you die. Maybe the box would be moving, but I guess then it would never touch you. I guess it doesn't really say anything about plexiglass being something that would like. You think like a snail, if like it could survive in any atmosphere, so it's never going to die. But he's technically never going to die, so it just kind of becomes your pet.
Yeah. And that's, I think, a relationship that we should pursue with death. To look at something and say this is inevitable, and I'm living with it, but I don't hate it and I don't fear it.
You ever been to Trader Joe's?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Brennan Lee Mulligan. Everybody, round of applause.
Thank you.
That was so fun. Thank you so much for taking me through all of that. I know our fans are going to absolutely love it. Now is your opportunity to officially plug whatever you would like to this camera right here.
Please check out Worlds Beyond Number, wherever fine pods are casted, and you can also find us on Patreon. Please check out Dropout.tv, Dimension 20, all our incredible shows there. You can find me at Brennan Lee Mulligan on Blue Sky and on Instagram.
And you got some live shows coming up too, right? Is that the thing?
We have thank you so much. We have a live show, I believe, May 28th.
Yes.
At the Will Turn.
Yes.
With
I'm gonna go.
Bigger. Oh, amazing.
I'm gonna go.
Come see the show. And then we also have June 1st at the Hollywood Bowl. We just announced our creative. It is Rumble in the Chungle, a canon event. One of them will die. One of our player characters, Fabian Seacaster, and his nemesis, the gnomish pirate Chungle Down Bim. We are going to have a live death match where one of the characters in canon will die June 1st at the Hollywood Bowl.
You're playing the Hollywood friggin' Bowl?
We played Madison Square Garden. We sold out.
Oh my God! We can't even sell out Zany's Nashville. All right, so Brennan Lee Mulligan, that was so good. I love that promo, and I love that you're playing all these shows in LA. I'm going to have to bring my Goblin Army out to see you if it's not already sold out, because I mean, you sold out Madison Square Garden. And I love that you're promoting stuff on my show.
Let's go.
But I thought since we kind of bonded,
yeah,
you know, I thought it kind of be fun if, like, as a dungeon master, maybe you read my promo.
Okay.
So if you look under your chair, I kind of wrote a little script, a little promo for you.
Okay.
You know, it's a little bit of a cold read, I understand, but, you know, you're a dungeon master, you know how to tell stories and stuff like that, so I thought you should do my promo.
Great. Okay, let's do this little promo here. You want me to cold read or should I scan it first?
I'm going to let you do you.
Okay. Hello, Goblinoids. Before these kids were sliding into DMs, I was DMing by the slides. On the playgrounds, that is. And I'm here to tell you, this gob right here would reach an ability score of 30, which Reddit told me is the absolute maximum an ability score can reach.
Is that true?
It depends on the edition.
Wait, Reddit is wrong? Okay, keep going.
So use a saving throw to order a cameo from John Goblikon. It will be a critical hit to all who receive it. And did you know if you like and subscribe to this channel, not only will you get to go Goblin mode every Tuesday with a new episode, but it'll make your you-know-what appear like my improv group bigger. Sorry for using college humor. Wait, am I legally allowed to say that anymore? But saying sorry for using dropout humor doesn't really have the same ring to it. Speaking of rings, did you know Gandalf's bumping into the ceiling beam of Bilbo's hobbit hole was actually not in the script? Well, of course you did. You're watching a Brennan Lee Mulligan explain D&D to an actual goblin. Lord of the Rings is your favorite movie. Hand to gob, I'm gonna go watch that right now. Now you, parenthetical, now you must leave the studio and go watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy so you can explain that to John Goblikon as well. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Hey, yeah, you come back and do that for me?
I'll come back and do that for you.
That would be so much fun. So, Brennan, how do you end a D&D session properly? As my dungeon master, how should we close today's show?
Typically, you would say that's all for this session or that's all for this episode.
That's what I always say anyways. So I'm kind of like always doing a D&D session.
In a way, we're...
Oh, wait a minute. It just came to me. This just came to me.
Okay.
Just coming to me right now. Here we go. Original time. Here we go. That's all, folks.
Perfect. And that is all for this episode of Right Now with John Goblikon. Maybe something like that.
Clip it! Oh, shit, we didn't record. Johannes.